Soccer Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island. You're watching exclusive non-conference coverage of CSI Women's Soccer right here on CSI Sportsnet. This afternoon, the College of Staten Island will look to extend their unbeaten streak to 4 as they will take on the old Westbury Panthers here in this Saturday afternoon matinee game. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babusky along with Joe Foreman. And Joe, earlier this week, the Dolphins went out to purchase. They had a tough game, but they were able to take advantage of a late goal in the second half by Kiki Nugent and come away with a 1-0 victory and extend their record to 3-0 to start this 2017 season.
And the Dolphins did something in that game that I've mentioned them doing so often. They outshot their opponents 14-1. That huge shot advantage for the Dolphins, a big reason why they came away with the victory in that game. They allowed only one shot to the Panthers, and I think that's the biggest thing here that jumps off the stat sheet and the reason why the Dolphins were able to extend their unbeaten streak to open up the 2017 season.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, they've been getting good goalkeeping as well from Calia Di Benedetto as she started off the season with a 3-0 record, and the Dolphins playing very well here, Joe, to start this 2017 season. This is their final non-conference game before the conference season begins with a couple of conference games coming up. So a good test for the Dolphins here this afternoon against a good old Westbury Panther team.
And you mentioned the goaltending, and for the Dolphins, they've had that big advantage in shots taken, as I just mentioned, in many of their games, both this season and last season. But the goaltending of Calia Di Benedetto has been a big part of the Dolphins' success as well. She's only allowed 2 goals in two full games played, of course, both victories for a goals allowed average of half a goal per game. She's also only been forced to make 7 saves. So the Dolphins' defense doing a good job of keeping their opponents from getting too many shots on goal each game, and that's something else the Dolphins will look to do here today.
Yeah, and you know, the Dolphins looking to bring in some new players and replace a lot of scoring that hasn't returned from the 2016 season. And you know, they've so far done it well on both ends, Joe. They've scored multiple goals in their games, and they've held their opponents to just 1 goal through 3 games here so far.
And you mentioned that the Dolphins have been looking for some new faces to bring contributions to the Dolphins' attack. We saw last game the Dolphins making many substitutions, and Kiki Nugent, one of those substitutions who came off the bench in the Dolphins' last game, home game I should say, against NJC, the last game covered here on CSI Sportsnet, did score the game winner in the Dolphins' last game against Purchase. She's just one of several new faces that the Dolphins will be looking to help bolster their attack.
Yeah, Nugent in the starting lineup here this afternoon for the Dolphins, as well as Brittany Bordstad. So, you know, a couple of the young players forcing their way into the starting lineup here, Joe.
Yeah, and those are players that, again, we saw in the second half of that game against NJCU for the first time here at the CSI Soccer Complex this year. We mentioned how it was a very hot day on that particular day and that we may see some more players that we haven't seen in that game due to conditioning. The Dolphins looked great, didn't look fatigued out there at all. We thought that perhaps that may have been a big reason why they came out on top of NJCU in that game. And in that game as well, it was a very physical second half. A lot of fouls called against the Gothic Knights. I'm looking here, and I see, I believe, a red card, a yellow card, then 2 red cards issued to the bench, and the 3rd yellow card issued to another Gothic Knights player. So a very physical second half, and it was nice to see the Dolphins respond to that physicality and pick up the victory against the Gothic Knights. That was 2 games ago, the last game we covered here on Sportsnet. Since then, the Dolphins also picked up a victory against the Purchase Panthers, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and Old Westbury coming in today, Joe, to face the Dolphins. They're a very young team. They've lost a lot of scoring from their 2016 team, just playing 1 game so far, dropping that game by a final score of 3-0, and really struggling for offense in that opening game.
And a team struggling for offense doesn't want to face the Dolphins right now. They're a team that, as I mentioned before, has limited shots and put a lot of pressure on the opposition through their attack. Again, the Dolphins will be looking to do that here today and extend their unbeaten streak, while Old Westbury will look to slow them down. The Dolphins, though, a team coming in red hot, a team that started off last season very strongly as well, and the Dolphins look to continue their strong start to 2017 here today.
So, Joe, while we hear the Panthers being introduced out on the field here this afternoon, why don't we get you the starting lineups for both teams, and here to bring you the starting lineups, my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. Joe?
All right, thank you, Mike. I will begin with Old Westbury in numerical order. Number 1, Alexa Higgins. Number 6, Lucia Mejia. Number 8, Cara Normile. Number 9, Ashley Onofre. Number 11, Alicia Perrone. Number 12, Nicole Jones. Number 13, Alicia Anarella. Number 15, Gianna Levine. Number 17, Shauna Henderson. number 18, Deanna Ciatola, and number 20, Kalena Roma LaRue. That is the starting lineup for Old Westbury. And for the Dolphins, once again in numerical order, beginning with 00, Kayla DiBenedetto, number 2, Lauren Smith, number 5, Rebecca DeLoya, number 12, Kiki Nugent, number 13, Elizabeth Aparicio, number 15, Brittany Bornstad, number 16, Catherine Mulligan, number 18, Natalia Sandor, number 22, Brianna DiStefano, number 25, Caitlin Russo, and number 28, Adriana Perello.
So the Dolphins coming out into today's game with a 3-0 record. Old Westbury looking for their first win. So as we get ready for the national anthem, we'll step aside and take a break, and we'll be right back with the start of this afternoon's game.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say
We're back, and we're just moments away from the start of this afternoon's game between the College of Staten Island and the Old Westbury Panthers. And Joe, Old Westbury really just getting underway this season, having just played one game here. So they're still probably trying to find themselves a little bit as a team. The Dolphins now in their 4th game, so they played a little bit more here so far this 2017 season.
And in their first game, Old Westbury was outshot by a very wide margin, 25-2. That's something that they need to improve here this afternoon. And the Dolphins, again, a team not allowing many shots, a team that has dominated that category, as I've already mentioned several times so far in the 2017 season. And Old Westbury certainly has to put more pressure on Dolphins goalkeeper Kayla DiBenedetto. If they're going to come away with a victory here today, the Dolphins need to continue what they've been doing both on the attack and defensively. They put pressure on the opposing goalkeeper, and defensively they've kept shots away from their own goalkeeper, and that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, you know, it really is, Joe, and you're right. They've played very well so far this year, especially at home. And, you know, they went up to a Purchase College team, a tough Purchase team. They're especially tough to play up on their own pitch, and really did well coming away with a 1-0 shutout win.
And that's just more of the same. We've seen several Dolphin shutouts over the course of the last 2 seasons. It's not something that this team isn't familiar with. They're solid and able to play shutout soccer, and if they can come away with another shutout here today, I'm sure they love it. But more importantly, the Dolphins looking to maintain their unbeaten record and come away with a victory. If they play as they have so far in this 2017 season, there's every reason to believe that they can do that.
So the Dolphins, in their last of 4 non-conference games to start the season, they'll go on the road this week for 2 conference games at Lehman this Wednesday night, and then on Saturday against CCNY at Randall's Island before returning home for 5 consecutive non-conference games. So very interesting scheduling this year, Joe, in this 2017 season.
Absolutely, Mike. And I'm looking back at the last matchup against Lehman, a 4-2 Dolphins victory during the CUNYAC tournament. All 4 Dolphins goal scorers, or 3 different goal scorers in that game, no longer with the team.
So we're underway here. The Dolphins will go from right to left here in the first half. A beautiful fall Saturday afternoon here at the CSI Soccer Complex, as that ball will be headed out of bounds. So the first throw-in of the afternoon will go to the Dolphins, and it'll be DeLoya to come up and throw the ball in. DeLoya plays the ball into Smith. Smith will play the ball towards the Panther goal. The Panthers having to come back and trying to play the ball, and the Dolphins come away with the ball as Russo makes her first touch of the afternoon for the Dolphins. Aparicio rolling the ball back up over to Mulligan as the Dolphins look to build up offensively, as Bordstead getting the ball ahead to Nugent now, as Nugent working her way down the far side of the field. She gets the ball back to Sander. The first shot will go on goal, and Higgins will be there to make the save. So good start offensively, Joe, for the Dolphins as they get a shot on goal in the first minute.
An excellent start for the Dolphins. A long ball toward the sideline retrieved by Nugent led to, I believe it was 2 or 3 passes strung together, and a great opportunity within about 5 yards of goal for the Dolphins. So a great opening possession there for CSI. They'll look for more of that.
And Higgins started in goal last game for the Panthers. And although listed as a junior, Joe, not on the 2016 Old Westbury Panther roster, as the Dolphins looking to put pressure on the ball, and Old Westbury able to move it over as Perrone farms the ball out down the far side of the field, and Normile makes her first touch of the afternoon as the ball will roll towards goal, and DiBenedetto will get her first touch of the afternoon. DiBenedetto punting the ball high up in the air. And the ball's going to be played down by Smith. Smith rolling the ball back to Bordstead as she looked to get the ball ahead to Perello. The ball knocked away momentarily by the Panthers. And now Russo looking to play the ball down the near sideline. Russo's pass is going to be knocked away, but Perello does a nice job coming back and playing the ball. And, Joe, the Dolphins getting off to a good start, really controlling the possession here through the first 2.5 minutes.
They have, and they've controlled the ball very well around the midfield area, the middle third of the field, and stringing together passes, now moving in on the attack toward the Panthers' goal before Purchase challenges, and it looks like they've taken possession.
So now it's Bordstead. Bordstead will knock the ball towards goal, and coming over to play the ball easily will be Higgins. So the Panthers really looking to get the ball onto the Dolphins side of the field, as the Dolphins have done a nice job here keeping the ball down on the Panther sideline, although not really able to convert anything other than that shot, Joe, in the first minute.
And on the theme of Panthers, I mistakenly said Purchase. This, of course, is Old Westbury that the Dolphins are facing today. Both Old Westbury and Purchase go by the mascot, the Panther, so a little bit of confusion there.
As the ball is going to be played over toward the near sideline, and it's going to be off the foot of Ciatola, and it will be the Dolphins to throw the ball in, as Russo will throw the ball in here for the Dolphins. Just underway here. Matinee afternoon game, 12 o'clock start, the Dolphins and the Panthers. Dolphins looking to open the season 4-0 as they've won their first 3 non-conference games here in this 2017 season, as the ball's going to be played toward the near sideline and out of bounds, and it will be a throw, and as Ciatola will throw it in. Ciatola was looking to get the ball in play, and it's going to go off Onafor, and it will be a throw in once again for the Panthers. Levine trying to push the ball up the near sideline, once again knocked out of bounds, and it will be a free kick, though, on the first foul of the game on the Dolphins. Lucia Mejia, the senior player, will take the free kick here for the Panthers as she's able to get the ball toward the box, and the ball's going to be played out by Mulligan. Normile looking to play the ball down the far sideline, and the Panthers play the ball out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in opportunity here for the Dolphins. Once again, the ball knocked out of bounds. A lot of play towards the sidelines here, Joe, in the early going.
And not much time on attack for the Panthers. They haven't spent much time in that final third of the field. Really no pressure put on the Dolphins defensively thus far. The first 5 minutes or so have been all Dolphins.
So the Dolphins to throw the ball in here as they throw the ball in up the far sideline, and the Panthers able to come away with possession once again. But a nice play that time by Diola to knock the ball away. Now the Dolphins play it in midfield as Perello looking to transition quickly as Smith gets the ball to Nugent. But Nugent will be just offsides on the play, and it will be a free kick opportunity here for the Panthers. So good idea, Joe. The Dolphins turn the ball quickly over in midfield, but just offside.
Yeah, and I saw Nugent making that run along the top of your screen in the top third of the field or so, and she was barely offsides, about a step or two. Good call there by the linesman. And the ball now belongs to, almost said Purchase again, Old Westbury.
So the ball going to be played down the near sideline. Owner 4 playing the ball back in toward the middle, and now it's Mulligan. But Mulligan's pass is going to be knocked away, and once again, it'll be owner 4 to come forward and play the ball, but now Mulligan will play it up the near sideline over to Russo. Russo looking to get past one Panther. She does, and now she's going to throw the ball up towards Perello. Perello charging in hard against Mejia, but Mejia able to roll the ball back, and Higgins will now play it up the center of the field for the Panthers to try to build up their offensive attack, but now Aparicio is there to turn the ball back for the Dolphins. Long ball down the far sidelines, and DiBenedetto comes out to play it on a couple of hops for the Dolphins. DiBenedetto, a long kick down the far sideline, and now it's going to be Borstad. Borstad, high ball towards Nugent. Nugent looking to work her way down the far sideline. And now the Panthers will roll it back towards goal, where Higgins is there to clear it up the center of the field. A little bit of open space for the Panthers, but now it's Diola to play it to Borstad, but Borstad's pass will be ahead of everybody, and Ciatola is there to play it away for the Panthers. Now the Dolphins looking to charge forward. Sandor looking to play it to Nugent, but for the second time this afternoon, Kiki will be called for the offsides.
And it looks like the Dolphins have been attempting to feature Kiki Nugent on the attack. She's made several runs already. The Dolphins attempting to get the ball to her. Already called for 2 offsides, as you just mentioned, but she was a catalyst in creating that first Dolphins opportunity early in this first half as well.
So a free kick coming up here for the Panthers as they play the ball up toward the midfield circle. The ball takes a couple of hops before Aparicio is there to volley it back to midfield for the Dolphins. Now Perello. Perello throwing it across the field to Sandor. Sandor's pass knocked away defensively that time by Perrone. And now Old Westbury gets a second clearing pass up towards the Dolphins' goal, but a nice play that time by Aparicio to step forward for the Dolphins. Now Russo. Russo with some speed down the near sideline. Russo looking to work her way past one Panther defender. She can't. Ciatola will knock it out of bounds, and now Russo throws it in for the Dolphins. Russo pass it to the center of the field, but no Dolphins there as the ball's going to be played by Anarella. Anarella losing possession now to Sandor. Borstad back up over to Smith. And now the Dolphins farm the ball out over toward the far sideline and work the ball to Nugent. Nugent with a little bit of space. Nugent tried to get past Perrone, but she can't do so as Perrone makes a nice play defensively to come away with the ball before her breakout pass is stolen away by the Dolphins. Now it's Nugent. Nugent trying to break her way past the defender, but she's shielded off the ball, and Higgins will come off her line to play it for the Panthers.
And the Dolphins bench wanted a foul call on that challenge of Nugent. They won't get it as the ball is rolled up ahead.
9 minutes into this scoreless first half, and now it's the Panthers in the center of the field. Ciatola. Defensively against Russo. Russo looking to work her way past. Russo with a lot of space on the near sideline. Looking to work her way past Normal. She does. She works the ball into the center. But it's off Perello, now played by Borstad. Her pass towards goal is going to be knocked away. And now it's Diola.
Go, Rebecca.
Diola. She had some room, but her pass is going to be knocked out of bounds by the Panthers, so the Dolphins will get a throw-in on the play. So it looked like the Dolphins might be able to do a little bit more than that, Joe, but a nice defensive play by the Panthers.
It was a good attempted cross just off the turf there by Russo. I believe it connected with the foot of Perello, but she wasn't facing the goal. Therefore, the Dolphins didn't get a shot opportunity, though they will maintain possession, and I believe that a throw-in has been awarded to Old Westbury now.
Yeah, it will be, as Ciatola will come up to throw it in for the Panthers. She gets the ball into Onafor, but she'll knock it out of bounds, and once again it will be a Throw-in opportunity for the Dolphins as play continues, Joe, to kind of be pushed out towards the sidelines for both teams.
It has. The Dolphins have done good work along this near sideline on this most recent sequence.
And now the Panthers look to clear the ball out towards midfield. Aparicio's there to get a foot on the ball, but Henderson there to play it momentarily. Now Diola. Perello over to Smith in the center of the field. Smith gets it to Russo. That was a tight call, but Russo gets called for the third offsides of the afternoon, Joe. So for the third time in 11 minutes, Joe, the Dolphins offsides.
We did see several offsides calls in the last game we covered against NJCU as well. The Dolphins have really been attacking aggressively and trying to make runs toward goal. The long ball was something they attempted to connect on many times in their previous home game that we covered. They failed to do so against NJCU. They've had a bit more success early in this game against Old Westbury today.
The ball played by Perello now as she'll swing the ball out onto the near side once again as Russo looks to come down to play it. As Russo and Ciatola battling on the near sideline once again as those two players have had a lot of action, Joe, as a lot of the play has been down on this side of the field for the Dolphins.
In the last 2 minutes or so, the battle between Ciatola and Russo has been one that we've really featured on the sideline camera we have newly installed along this near sideline, and good work by Russo working the ball in towards the box and trying to give her teammates opportunities. Unfortunately, the Dolphins haven't turned any of those opportunities into shots.
Yeah, a lot of physical play on the far sideline as the Panthers come away with the ball and look to attack offensively, but the Dolphins once again there to play it away is DiStefano getting a rare touch on the ball here this afternoon for the Dolphins as she swings it up, and now it's Smith in the center of the field. Smith looking for Nugent. Nugent in a little bit of space, but the flag went up, and that went up very late, Joe, and for the fourth time now the Dolphins are offsides.
And I took a look to see if there was going to be an offsides call, and I didn't see the flag up until after I took a second look and heard the whistle. So offside is the call, and it looks like the Dolphins have regained possession once again in that middle third of the field.
So now the Dolphins, DiStefano, throwing it in the center of the field, and coming away to play it will be Perone for the Panthers, but Smith will knock the ball out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in opportunity here for the Panthers. 13 minutes into this first half, no score, just one shot on goal, that in the first minute for the Dolphins. As the Dolphins look to extend their record to 4-0. Perello looking to break in against the defender that time, but Perone once again able to make a nice play. Now Nugent comes forward. Nugent and Perone battling, and it will be a free kick for the Panthers.
And good work there by Perone, using her body to shield Perello off the ball. She then battled with Nugent to earn Old Westbury the goal kick and prevent the Dolphins from perhaps getting a shot on goal or a corner kick. Nugent, nice job for CSI as well, not giving up on that play, attempted to regain possession for the Dolphins, could not. Goal kick upcoming.
Yeah, and the Panthers have shown themselves willing to play physically, Joe, as we've seen a couple of solid body plays by the Panthers here defensively in the last couple of minutes.
And the Dolphins responded very well to the physical play of NJCU in their last home game that we covered. We'll see if they respond in a similar way here this afternoon against Old Westbury.
As the Panthers look to work their way down the far sideline, Borstad is there to knock the ball away once again for the Dolphins, as now Nugent fighting for possession. And now the Panthers are going to clear it out of bounds along the far sideline, so it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. DiStefano to throw the ball in. But first the official will have a move back about 10 yards or so. And now DiStefano can throw it in. And the Panthers come away with possession momentarily. But now it's the Dolphins once again, as it's Diola. Diola in the center of the field for Perello. Her pass is knocked away, and Lauren Smith is there to play it for the Dolphins. Now Diola to the near side to Russo. Russo getting the ball into Perello. Perello looking to turn past one defender, and now Borstad is there to knock the ball away momentarily. And Ciatola will play it away for the Panthers. Diola looking to play the ball into space. Coming out quickly off her line is Higgins. And a nice play that time by Alexa Higgins, Joe, to get off her line quickly and make the play.
And prior to that, coming out of goal there by Higgins, it was Lucia Mejia who made a nice play. The Dolphins were looking to set up a through ball around that final defender, and Mejia, with a slide tackle, was able to knock that ball down and smother that pass. At the point of the pass, get possession back to the Panthers. Only momentarily, it's the Dolphins with the ball once again.
Smith looking to cross it over to Sander on the far side of the field, but a nice defensive play by Normile to come away with the ball for the Panthers, but now it's Borstad. Borstad rolling it forward. Now Russo and Ciatola battling for the ball. Ciatola playing it up the near sideline and out of bounds. So that time Ciatola might have rushed a little bit, Joe, and gave away the throw-in deep inside her defensive territory.
This isn't a spot where you want to allow the Dolphins to throw it in, though the Dolphins haven't really been known to attempt the long throw, and we saw that from the Gothic Knights in the last game the Dolphins played. This throw-in does reach the penalty area.
As that time Nugent turns and gets the shot towards goal. She didn't get all of it and played on a hop that time by Higgins, so I think the Dolphins might be credited with their second shot on goal on that one, Joe, but Higgins there to make the play on it.
I think they will be credited with that shot. And Nugent had a pretty good opportunity there from close range. Didn't get all of it. Had to turn around and then fire that shot.
Borstad. Sander looking to get the ball forward to Nugent, but the Panthers once again there to play the ball away defensively. And, you know, the Panthers have struggled to get much on the attack, Joe, as far as offense goes, but they've done a pretty good job defensively, really preventing very many strong opportunities for the Dolphins.
They have. For all the time the Dolphins have spent in the final third of the field, only a pair of shots for them, but the shot disparity was something that really hurt the Panthers in their first game. I mentioned during the pregame they were outshot 25-2 in their last game, so that's something they need to change, and they need to get the ball across the middle third of the field to have any shot opportunity at all, and that's something we haven't seen them do much so far.
So an opportunity now for the Panthers to move forward on the free kick as DiStefano steps up to knock the ball away for the Dolphins. And now it's going to be a long pass forward to Nugent, and she'll be called for the offsides. And, you know, Joe, that's the fifth offsides here in the first half. And, you know, you certainly want to attack forward, but, you know, really 5 offsides is the equivalent of 5 turnovers.
And this is something we saw from the Dolphins in their last game, though now it's not quite to this extent. I'm not sure they had 5 total offsides in the last game. I'd say it's likely, but I don't have that number in front of me at the moment. However, 5 in only about 18 minutes of play here in this first half is a number that's way too high.
So now the ball's going to be played forward. Diola is there to pitch the ball forward for the Dolphins. 50-50 ball in midfield as Borstad is able to head the ball towards Sandor. And now the ball's going to go all the way out toward the far sideline, out of bounds. A throw in for the Dolphins as DiStefano will throw it in. DiStefano looking to get the ball up toward the midfield line. Now it's going to be skied up the far sideline. And now the Panthers overrun the ball, and it's going to be Borstad in the center of the field. Borstad looking to get the ball forward, this time to Perello. She's going to be onside. Perello. Now it's Russo out on the near sideline. She plays it in front. It's going to go past Perello. And now the Panthers clear it up towards midfield. Diola. Now it's going to be Henderson. Henderson trying to come forward for the Panthers, but Diola's there to play it. Or for the nice defensive play that time by Aparicio. And now we're going to have a whistle. And it looks like Alicia Perrone is a little banged up in the back, and she's really done a very good job for the Panthers, Joe. And if she has to come off the sideline, that would be a big blow to the back line of Westbury.
It would be, and the Panthers have played solid defense so far. The Dolphins, again, attempting many long balls to put their players through on the attack, particularly Kiki Nugent. Those haven't connected as of yet, and when the Dolphins have been forced to string some passes together, Old Westbury's done a pretty good job of cutting off those potential passing lanes and keeping the ball from getting too close to the goal. It appears as if this is an injury timeout or perhaps a water break here early in this first half. I'm not sure, but both teams gathered around the bench getting hydrated. So we'll have a brief stoppage here with exactly 26 minutes to go in half number 1.
You know, this is interesting, Joe, being that the temperature is well under 70 degrees. I'm not a little surprised to see a water break in such conditions.
I'm sure the players appreciate it. They won't complain about a stoppage in the action unless there's an aggressive attack going on or some other kind of play that puts the pressure on the opponent, but I wouldn't expect it on a day like this, Mike.
Joe, we played 19 minutes of a game in 65-degree temperature. Why the players have been called off the field, I'm not really sure.
And it doesn't seem like we're going to get any clarification. I saw 2 substitutions set to check in as well. I don't believe those substitutions were made. I do see one, number 9 for the Dolphins. That is Kiara Meza-Mendez has checked in. Also for the Panthers, number 10, Gabby Lamano has checked in as well. So a pair of substitutions for both sides.
So here come the Dolphins once again as Perello feeds a streaking Russo down the near side of the field for the Dolphins as Russo breaks the ball in toward the goal line and C.I. Tola is there to play it away from her once again. Now Russo trying to get the ball back to Diola. Panthers there to play it, and a nice play that time by Henderson as she looks to bring the ball forward, and another nice move as she gets around Mulligan, but a nice play that time by DiStefano as Brianna came over quickly to knock the ball away, and that will slow down the Old Westbury counterattack as they'll have to throw the ball in deep inside Dolphin territory on the near side of the field. A rare throw-in, Joe, for Old Westbury on the Dolphins' offensive side.
And a rare possession in the final third of the field for Old Westbury to this point in the first half. And a nice move there as well on that counterattack by Shauna Henderson, pushing the ball ahead. Almost put herself through, but a nice sliding tackle on the back line by the Dolphins, forcing the throw-in. And there'll be another throw-in for Old Westbury, but good defensive play and a nice attacking play as well by Henderson.
So C.I. Tola will be there to throw the ball in for Old Westbury. She gets the ball into Henderson, and Henderson has made a couple of nice offensive moves, Joe, in the last minute or so for the Panthers, but that time the ball goes too far ahead, and it will be a free kick for the Dolphins, but first they'll have their first substitute, Joe, of the afternoon.
And it's Susan Aracena checking in for Caitlin Russo. Aracena was a big part of that Dolphins offensive attack against NJC, one of the bench players that we mentioned coming in and making major contributions in that game. We'll see if she can do a similar job here today.
Yeah, she certainly did a good job for the Dolphins. Against NJCU is now Perello is there to head the ball ahead right to Aracena as she comes in and gets on the attack quickly, and she's going to force that time C.I. Tola to knock the ball out of bounds, and I believe she's going to give away a corner kick on the play, Joe. And, again, it looked with the ball coming all the way down into the corner that she might have had another option there to then just give away the corner.
I thought that was going to wind up a goal kick off the head of Perello and then Aracena moving the ball forward, but apparently that was going to be a corner kick, and nicely done, if so, by C.I. Tola, as it was only a throw-in opportunity for the Dolphins.
Yeah, nice job that time. You're right, Joe. Defensively, as the Dolphins try to play the ball across the center of the field, but Normile is there to play it, and now we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins, as it will be a free kick opportunity here for the Panthers as we remain scoreless, approaching the end of the 22nd minute here in the first half. And now the Dolphins are going to play it down the near sideline out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins.
And at that last horn, Mike, Daniela Zerpolo checked in for Old Westbury, for CSI, my mistake. So a substitution was made by the Dolphins at that last horn as well prior to the throw-in.
So the Dolphins turn the ball over right in the center of the field, but now Old Westbury does the same, and it's the Dolphins looking to attack as Aracena looking to break in the center of the field, but a nice defensive play that time by Gianna Levine to knock the ball out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins. So Dolphins look to counterattack quickly on the play. As they throw the ball in toward the center of the field. And now it's going to be played by Sandor momentarily, but the Panthers once again able to knock the ball out of danger as they play the ball up toward the center of the field. And Aracena is there to play it back for the Dolphins. Now Sandor looked to break in with speed, but Mejia is there to turn her away as their clearing pass is going to be knocked away by DiStefano. DiStefano throwing it into the center of the field. Now the Dolphins looking to get the ball in towards goal, and the shot that time and the save is going to be made on the play as Zappolo came in, Joe. Didn't get all she could on it, and Higgins made the save on the shot.
And that was prime scoring position right in the middle of the net. No defender between Zappolo and goal, but as you mentioned, Mike, she didn't get all of it, and that potentially cost the Dolphins a goal. We'll see if they can put together another solid attacking possession here.
Aracena over to Borstad. Borstad looking to play it over to Aracena. Now it's Sandor looking to break in, but the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds over the far sideline, and it will be a throw-in for Old Westbury. So the Dolphins once again looking to break in through the center of the field, Joe, and once again the Panthers there to turn it aside.
The Dolphins haven't gotten that great chance on goal since very early in this first half. That was easily their best chance since that first shot. But again, they've spent a ton of time in the final third of the field, and the Panthers just don't seem to have an answer, with the exception of their defensive play, which has been pretty solid so far, giving all the pressure that the Dolphins have put on them attacking. Though, in order to win this game, Old Westbury is going to have to get on the attack at some point.
A big pass over to Aracena, but she couldn't control the ball, and now we're going to have a whistle. And I think we're going to have an offsides called on the play, Joe. I think it was an offsides.
And the Dolphins have been no strangers to an offsides call in this game.
As we're going to have a replay here of the Dolphins looking to get the ball into the center of the field. And you see the shot by Zappolo, but Higgins there to make the save. So Dolphins with their third shot on goal. As we're still scoreless, is the ball ahead to Aracena, and she's going to get called for the offside. So 7 offsides, Joe, for the Dolphins unofficially here in the first half.
And to our right now, you can hear head coach Giuseppe Panetti getting frustrated with the offsides calls. I'm not sure if he's frustrated at the official or his players, though I can tell you that at least 2 or 3 of them I've seen the Dolphins clearly were offsides. So we'll see if they can clean that up. But you mentioned before, Mike, an offside's the same as a turnover, though the Dolphins really haven't let it affect them. They've kept the pressure on, immediately regaining possession following those whistles.
Siatola will play the ball out of bounds. She's been all over the field defensively for the first half for Old Westbury, Joe.
And at the horn, we'll see Ashley Hunter check in for CSI, replacing Natalia Sandor. So the Dolphins once again utilizing their substitutions within the first half of this first half.
Yeah, and Sandor played very well through 25 minutes, presenting a lot of challenges for Old Westbury, but the Panthers have been pretty much up everything offensively. The Dolphins have been able to throw at them. Old Westbury so far has handled defensively.
And I mentioned it already, they need to get on the attack if they're going to have any chance of winning this game. They've had a hard time advancing the ball beyond midfield, and they'll need to change that.
Diola looking to get the ball into Hunter. Hunter, a nice spinning move, and now the shot on goal and the save made once again by Higgins. So that time the Dolphins able to get up offensively is they were getting better opportunities here over the last couple of minutes, and that time they were able to get the shot in towards goal, but Higgins was there to make the save. Now a pass up the near sideline. Aracena looking to get past Siatola. She does so. Now she gets it in the center of the field for Hunter. Hunter looking to turn. She's knocked down on the play. Nothing called. And now the Panthers trying to turn the ball out toward the near sideline. And Diola's there to play it once again for the Dolphins. Borstad. Now Aracena. Aracena turns and shoots, and Higgins is there to make the save, but she can't hold on to it, and now it's Zappolo. Zappolo tackled hard on the play, and it'll go out of bounds, and I believe this will be the first corner kick of the afternoon.
That first shot, the one from right in the middle of the penalty area on goal, was taken by Kiara Meza-Mendez, and then the Dolphins getting another strong shot right there. 2 opportunities. I believe that makes it 3 within the last couple of minutes for CSI, as they're really starting to put the pressure on.
5 shots on goal now for the Dolphins, as they will have a corner kick from the near sideline as they play it right in towards goal. It goes off the hands of Higgins. It bounces on the ground a couple of times, but nobody there to play it. And the Panthers able to play it out towards the far sideline once again. And now the ball will go out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins as they continue to keep the pressure on the Panther defense. Now the Dolphins trying to play the ball in front, but we're going to have a whistle once again, and it will be a free kick opportunity here for Old Westbury. So we get another look here at the Dolphins' opportunity towards goal. A nice shot that time by Menza Mendez, but a better save by Higgins.
That might have been the Aracena shot, Mike. The second long shot, the Menza Mendez shot, was down in the penalty area in front of the goal. And going back to that corner kick for just a moment, it appeared as if that corner might find its way into the net had Higgins not gotten her hands on it.
Ball skied up now down the far sideline. Is Hunter fighting for possession as she's going to be shoved out of bounds. And we're going to have a whistle on the play as the referee allowing a lot of contact to go uncalled here in the first half. And Old Westbury taking advantage of it. They've played pretty physically, Joe, defensively here so far.
They have, and that physicality is a big part of the reason why the Dolphins haven't been able to get that great quality shot from close range. Old Westbury using their bodies against the Dolphin attackers as the Dolphins play went up the far sideline. Looks like the Panthers should regain possession. As
the Dolphins able to steal the ball away momentarily, as it's going to come back now to Aracena. Aracena tried to get herself into space. Her shot's going to be blocked away as Bordstead tried to knock it back toward the Panther goal, and they're able to clear it again up the far sideline.
Susan Aracena has been very aggressive looking for shots, especially from that range, about maybe 5 to 10 yards outside of the penalty area. You have to like that if you're the Dolphins. Get a strong quality shot on goal. They've gotten great quality scoring position on the pitch, but they haven't really been able to get everything they have behind their shot opportunities. We've seen several shanked within a few yards of the net, as we will have a stoppage for an injury. It looks like a Panther is down.
So we have 14 minutes and 51 seconds here as we have our second stoppage of the first half. No score between the CSI Dolphins and the Old Westbury Panthers, but Joe, the Dolphins have been getting more and more pressure offensively on Old Westbury here through the last few minutes.
They have, and it seems like as this first half progresses, we're now down to the final 15 minutes, as you just mentioned, but it seems as this first half has gone on, the Dolphins' attacking play has gotten stronger. They've gotten great scoring position. They just haven't gotten everything behind their shots. Had they gotten the most of their shots, or the most behind their shots that they could from down around the goal, they could very easily be up 2 or 3 right now, as they've gotten some point-blank opportunities so far here in this half.
So Sky Williams is going to check into the game for Old Westbury. And she's going to replace Kara Normile, as Normile shaking up on the play, Joe, so she'll come over to the sideline here with 14 minutes, 51 seconds remaining here in the first half, scoreless. So it'll be the Dolphins' opportunity here for a free kick. As the referee blows his whistle, and here we go as the Dolphins play the ball into the center of the field, and the Panthers are there to play it toward the far sideline once again. Both teams fighting for possession in midfield, and DiStefano comes away with the ball for the Dolphins as we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on Old Westbury. And that will be on Nicole Jones, and it will be a free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins.
Despite the physical play, this game has been much cleaner physical play than we saw in the second half of the last Dolphins home game, where several cards were issued, some to both sides in that second half. And as I mentioned, that a hard foul committed against, I believe that was Lawrence Smith, who took the foul committed by Nicole Jones of the Panthers.
Yeah, so Jones with 2 fouls in less than a minute. And it will be a free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins. Dolphins with 3 fouls in the first half compared to 2 for Old Westbury is Borstead trying to get behind the Panther defense, and instead the ball's going to be knocked away and played by Diola. Diola looking to work against Williams, who just checked into the game, and now it's going to be Aparicio getting the ball up over to Mulligan. DiStefano as the Dolphins now work the ball all the way across the field. But again, a nice defensive play that time by Old Westbury as they're able to turn away the Dolphins' attack once again and try to come down the far sideline, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called, and we're going to have our first yellow card of the afternoon, Joe, to the CSI Dolphins.
Yeah, and I believe for the Dolphins, that's number 1, Ashley Hunter, who was issued the yellow card by the official. She came in and was on one end of some very physical play coming from the Panthers, and there she commits the hard foul and the attempted slide tackle along the far sideline, prompting another injury timeout. A Panthers player is down and looks to be in some discomfort here on the pitch.
Yeah, so we're going to have another stoppage in the action here with 13 minutes and 3 seconds remaining here in the first half, as the Panthers with an opportunity to break in towards goal, one of their rare opportunities. And, you know, it was a hard foul that time by Hunter, and she's going to get cited for the yellow card.
And it looks like we'll have a Dolphin substitution at the next horn. It will be number 6, Emily Rodriguez, checking in for CSI at the next opportunity. But for right now, it's a free kick. Old Westbury just beyond, or just outside the final third of the field to take this free kick, and this could spur the opportunity they've been looking for.
Yeah, and, you know, they're looking for an opportunity, Joe, just to get the ball into the Dolphin penalty area. And, you know, this is an opportunity to possibly pass it into the penalty area and get a touch in the Dolphin penalty area. And, you know, they've been few and far in between, Joe, so far offensively for Old Westbury.
And Ashley Hunter, who just received the yellow card, will check out also for Old Westbury. Number 22, Effie Shani, checking in.
So Old Westbury with a long kick into the box, and it'll be played on a hop by DiBenedetto. And now the Dolphins will have an opportunity to set up offensively, as DiBenedetto will play the ball up the center of the field. Borstead, Aracena. Aracena looking to break in once again, but once again the Dolphins called for an offsides.
That was right here in front of us, awfully close on that offsides call, but once again the Dolphins find themselves committing the offsides, and a free kick for the Panthers once again.
So the Panthers take advantage of another offsides by the Dolphins as they look to build up the attack offensively. But it's the Dolphins coming away with the ball as Smith, a long pass forward, but the ball's going to be knocked away, and it's that time she was looking for Menza Mendez, but the ball knocked away, and now Higgins coming off of a line quickly to get to the ball just ahead of the charging Zappola.
And despite all the offsides committed by the Dolphins here in this first half against NJCU, I feel like those calls were a bit more costly, as NJCU was really putting the pressure on CSI in that game on their attack. The offsides calls and the turnovers that have resulted really have seemed inconsequential so far, as Old Westbury really hasn't put much of an attack together at all in this first half.
So the Panthers will throw the ball in from the far side of the field, as both teams fighting for possession of the ball, and it will go out of bounds, but this time it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins. Just over 11 minutes, 15 seconds remaining here in this first half. No score. Dolphins with 5 shots on goal, but have been unable to break through here in this first half. The ball will roll out of bounds along the far sideline, and once again another throw-in opportunity for the Dolphins. Borstead looking to get the ball to Menza Mendez. She's fighting along the far sideline. It's going to roll out of bounds, and it will be a free kick opportunity here for Old Westbury.
And with the goal kick upcoming, the horn sounds. It will be a substitution for the Dolphins as Namina Bracic checks in for CSI.
So Bracic will check in.
Center mid.
And she's going to replace Lauren Smith here, Joe. So it's going to be a free kick here for Old Westbury as the Dolphins are there to play it, as it's Aracena. Aracena looking to roll the ball across, and it's going to be knocked away once again by the Panther defense, but DiStefano charging up from a fullback position to keep the ball in, and here come the Dolphins. as they play it in toward the center of the field, but there to play the ball once again will be Alicia Higgins.
And Higgins has done a good job getting on top of those attempted passes down around the penalty area. And when she hasn't had the chance to meet that ball, she's quickly retreated. She's been decisive. We saw a lot of this last game from NJCU goalkeeper Dominique Jackson, and then in the second half it seemed to unravel as she allowed a goal that definitely should have been saved to get through her, and the floodgates opened from there.
So the Dolphins trying to regain possession as it's Borstad who has the ball knocked away, but she's able to come back and regain possession and get the ball to Diola. Diola working the ball forward over to Aracena. Aracena's pass is going to be knocked away as Diola comes back to play and get the ball back over to Aparicio. Aparicio's pass forward is going to be knocked away as fighting for the ball is Zappolo, but the Panthers able to play it away once again. Now Zappolo fighting for the ball in midfield. Ciatola. Ciatola's pass is going to be played by Diola, and now the Dolphins look to counter quickly. Diola looking to work her way into the center of the field. She's got herself a little bit of space. Diola turns and shoots and knocks it just wide past the far post. A big opportunity that time for Rebecca Diola, but her shot goes just wide past the far post.
And a great attacking play there by Deloya, who came all the way upfield from her back position along this near sideline here, dribbled all the way to the top of the penalty area. And I'm shocked that she wasn't met by a Panthers defender who just allowed her to take the ball nearly a third of the length of the field into the final third and get a quality shot from just outside the box. Here's a replay on that shot.
Yeah, so Diola turned, and she had a lot of space that time for the far post, but knocked the ball just wide as she now regains possession for the Dolphins. Diola to Aracena. Back to Diola as she works her way in toward the top of the penalty area, breaking her way inside. A nice play by Ciatola to knock the ball away, and it's going to roll out of bounds. And it's going to be ruled a free kick here for the Panthers. And Diola let that one go out, Joe, because I think she believed she was going to get a corner kick.
Yeah, she appeared certain it was going to be a corner kick. Instead, the referee awards the goal kick to Old Westbury. Not much of an argument after the call, though, from Deloya.
Let the ball do the work.
So it's going to be a free kick opportunity here for Old Westbury, as Shauna Henderson's going to take it. Now, the Panthers playing it back as Ciatola will knock the ball out of bounds. And once again, it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins as we're under 7 minutes remaining here in the first half. Aracena. Borstad. Now back to Aparicio. Aparicio trying to get the ball back to DiStefano as Briano now will swing it out to Mulligan back on the Dolphins side of the field. Dolphins looking to build up the attack once again now. Mulligan chipping the ball forward, but the Panthers there once again to knock it away. But Aparicio is there to knock back the clearing pass by the Panthers. Aparicio, now Diola. Diola working her way across midfield. Now a little bit of space for Menza Mendez, and now it's Borstad. Borstad trying to feed the ball forward to Zappolo, but once again a nice defensive play by the Panthers to knock it away. Turnover now is Aracena able to pick the ball up, but once again the Panthers able to stop the good opportunity. Diola swinging the ball across now onto the far side of the field. Ball's going to roll up the far sideline, and the Dolphins able to keep the ball in. But now the Panthers able to get it back out once again. 5 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the first half as Borstad is able to play the ball forward once again for the Dolphins. As the Dolphins try to get the ball into the center of the penalty area, and the Panthers are there to knock it away once again. Menza Mendez looking to get it to Aparicio. Now she's able to get the ball back and play the ball up over to Aracena. Aracena in a little bit of space. Aracena, a nice pass over to Zappolo, but coming over to knock the ball out of bounds will be Henderson. And the Dolphins look dangerous there for a minute, Joe, but the most they can get out of it is a throw-in.
And a good pass there by Aracena. It just came off the foot of Zappolo a bit too strongly and rebounded back over to another Panthers defender, so it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins following the clearance.
Aparicio. She tried to get the ball to Diola, but the pass will be out of bounds. And the Dolphins will turn the ball over, and Old Westbury will get the throw-in. And first we're going to have a couple of substitutions, Joe, here for both teams.
Yeah, it will be Tosin Akinfelye for the Panthers checking in, and for the Dolphins, it will be Paulina Ambrose checking into the game. Just under 5 minutes to go in this first half.
So Ambrose checks into the game for Zappolo. Zappolo did create some havoc in the back for the Dolphins, but the Panthers, through it all, Joe, have been able to stay even here. No score between the Dolphins and the Panthers.
We've said it before, you don't want to be one goal away from defeat in any situation in a game where you really thoroughly outplay the opposition. And I think that it's fair to say the Dolphins have done that thus far. They've maintained possession for almost the entirety of this first half. Still no shots for the Panthers either, but the Dolphins just haven't been able to find the back of the net yet. And until they do, they're at risk of a draw, or even potentially their first loss of the season.
So Borsted's pass is going to be knocked out of bounds over the far sideline, and it will be a throw-in opportunity for Old Westbury here with 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining here in the first half. Dolphins looking to attack once again as the ball is going to be knocked away by Henderson back towards midfield for Old Westbury as DiStefano able to break up the Old Westbury counterattack. And here come the Dolphins looking to attack as it's Borsted. Borsted in a little bit of space, but her shot's going to be 2 bounces on goal. And once again, that will be an easy save for Alicia Higgins.
The Dolphins now looking to fire some shots on goal from a bit further out. We saw a strong shot earlier on goal that came from a long distance by Susan Aracena, and there it was Bornstad taking the chance from a ways out. She comes up empty.
Now the Dolphins looking to play the ball down the far sideline. They have a little bit of space there, but Old Westbury once again able to close it off, and now we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins. Free kick here for Old Westbury as Shauna Henderson will take it. She's taken the majority of free kicks here this afternoon for Old Westbury. And she'll play the ball high up in toward the center of the field. 11 shots to none for the Dolphins here in the first half. 6 of them on goal, but the big stat, no score between the Dolphins and the Panthers. Aparicio, Diola. Diola working the ball up to Aracena as Aracena comes charging up the near sideline. Aracena gets past Ciatola, but unable to keep the ball in bounds. And now the Panthers there to play it as Diola will come forward to knock the ball off the foot of Onafor. And the Panthers will throw it in once again as we're inside of 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining here in the first half. Borsted rolling the ball forward, and it's going to be knocked away now by Old Westbury as they turn offensively here for one of the rare times in the first half. Dolphins able to knock the ball away, and Ciatola is there to play it once again for Old Westbury. Now Onafor. Pass is going to be knocked away. Borsted is there to play it for the Dolphins, and getting a foot on it is going to be Brocic. But Brocic's pass for Ambrose is going to be too far ahead of everybody, and it's going to be played back by the Panthers. Aracena trying to head it past Ciatola, but Ciatola there to make another nice defensive play for Old Westbury. And Joe, the Dolphin attack has been on that sideline all the first half. Is now a nice play by Aracena to get the ball into the center of the pitch, but no CSI Dolphin there.
And barring a big mistake here by the Panthers, despite the Dolphins' huge advantage in shots taken and time on attack, it looks like we're going to head to the half scoreless. Just over 20 seconds to go. The Dolphins looking to make one more run at it.
Borsted, her pass down the far sideline is knocked away defensively nicely by the Panthers as the Dolphins were forced to throw it in along the far sideline with 8 seconds remaining as the Dolphins try to work it into Menza Mendez. Getting a foot on the ball will be Borsted. Her shot towards goal will be knocked away, and that's going to do it, Joe, 45 minutes in the books. A lot of shots, 6 shots on goal, but scoreless here between the Dolphins and the Panthers at halftime.
And you said it, Mike. The scoreboard is all that matters, and shots taken isn't what wins you soccer matches. So the Dolphins in the second half will have to find the back of the net, and if you're old Westbury, you have to find a way to get on the attack, whether it's a counterattack that leads to a good opportunity or a leak-out pass, anything to try and get your attack going, because they've really had a non-existent attack so far here in this game.
So we're at halftime here. No score between the CSI Dolphins and the old Westbury Panthers. The Dolphins dominating play, dominating shots with all 6 shots on goal in that first half, but a nice job defensively by the Panthers and a good job of goaltending by Alicia Higgins, and we're scoreless. So we're going to step aside and take a break here. We're at halftime. Dolphins and Panthers scoreless. You're watching women's soccer coverage on your voice for everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire.
but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Oh!
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
We're back here at halftime. No score between the Dolphins and the Panthers. Mike Babusky along with Joe Foreman. And, you know, Joe, it was a good first half for the Dolphins. They kept constant pressure on the Panthers' defense. Did a good job of preventing really any Panther offensive attack at all in that first half. But after 45 minutes, we're still scoreless.
And that's the big thing, Mike. We're still scoreless. The Dolphins, as you mentioned, dominated possession, put pressure on the Panthers' goalkeeper, Alexa Higgins. She did a good job really weathering the storm, as there was a lot of action down around the penalty area in that first half. And defensively, it wasn't all that bad for old Westbury. They spent a ton of time really forced to play defense right in front of their own goal, just outside the penalty area. They did a good job cutting off the passing lanes, and the Dolphins later in that first half were forced to take shots from much further out rather than getting those great opportunities within 5 to 10 yards of goal. We saw a couple of those early in the game. The big chance came in the first minute, and then later in the first half, I believe Kiki Nugent had an opportunity, and there was one more shot. I believe it was Kiara Meza-Mendez in front as well, and unfortunately for the Dolphins, it didn't lead to any goals, and we find ourselves scoreless.
Yeah, you know, the Dolphins getting very good play defensively in that first half, and, you know, Rebecca Diolo really starting to come up forward as we take a look at the first half statistics. Dolphins, you know, really in control, 11 shots to none, 6 saves made by Alicia Higgins. No saves made by DiBenedetto yet for the Dolphins. Just one corner, the fouls 5-3. So, you know, Dolphins really doing a good job offensively and have been able to do everything, Joe, but close it out with the goal.
And if you take a look at the shots taken for the Dolphins, you mentioned the Dolphins with an 11-0 shot disparity. We saw it there on the halftime stats. But 6 of those 11 Dolphin shots came from players that were substituted into the game. Ashley Hunter had a shot. Kiara Meza-Mendez had a pair of shots, as did Susan Aracena. Daniela Zerpolo also had a shot, and her chance was a very good chance as well. We saw Aracena as well take a good, strong shot from a pretty far distance out, and she almost found the back of the net. So the Dolphin substitutes gave them some strong offensive play in that first half. As always, the Dolphins were strong defensively. They didn't allow a shot. Their back line, a big part of that. Rebecca Deloy also came up and had a great opportunity just outside the penalty area. Unfortunately, she didn't have just enough room to tuck that in inside the right post. So, again, we find ourselves scoreless, but it's not for a lack of attacking play, solid attacking play by the Dolphins or a defensive effort. They just haven't been able to find the back of the net yet.
Yeah, so a good first half here for the CSI women's team as they are looking to break on top in the second half. No score between the Dolphins and the Panthers, and we should mention, Joe, while we have a minute, the men traveling all the way up to Newton, Massachusetts today to play LaSalle College, a game that will begin at 2 o'clock. And, you know, the men starting to play very well, Joe. They've picked up a couple of victories now, starting to gain a little bit of momentum coming off of that big 2-1 win earlier in the week right here at the CSI Soccer Complex.
And that was a win that I was in attendance for as well. And that was a hard-fought game between the Griffins of Sarah Lawrence, a relatively new soccer program, and they put on a very strong showing. They actually jumped out to an early lead after the Dolphins committed a penalty. A nice save by Dolphins goaltender Belinda Barabbas on the penalty kick. Unfortunately for him and the Dolphins, the Griffins were able to get the rebound on that saved penalty kick opportunity and put it in the back of the net to take a 1-0 lead. However, the Dolphins did respond well to falling behind and made a penalty kick of their own, ultimately winning the game 2-1, and what was a very strong showing for the Dolphins as well. The Griffins deserve a lot of credit for what they did, being a new program and coming out, and it was a game that many expected the Dolphins to walk away with, but the Griffins did not roll over, played a very strong game, and the Dolphins, with a strong effort as well, able to come away with the victory.
Yeah, you know, Philip Lefkowitz picked up his first goal of the game a minute and a half after the Dolphins gave up that early first half goal to fall behind 1-0, and then Joe Bolella, who really played an extremely strong game for the Dolphins, Joe, all afternoon long, was able to convert on a penalty kick for his second goal of the year. It was a penalty that he himself created with a very nice offensive challenge. And, you know, from that point forward, you got to give Sarah Lawrence a lot of credit. They put a lot of pressure on the Dolphins for the remainder of the game, but good goaltending in the back and good defense, and the Dolphins were able to up their record to 2-1 with a big win as they go on the road here this afternoon.
And you mentioned Joe Bilella. He was incredibly active in that game, especially on the attack. We saw him come screaming in just outside the near post. If you were able to watch it on camera, and it was on screen, he came in toward where the bottom of your screen would be along the near post for a header opportunity, and the ball just missed him, or I believe maybe he got a piece of it. I think he did, and it went over the crossbar. His effort was constant on the attack, and it culminated with him scoring on the penalty kick, which would ultimately be the game winner for the Dolphins. A very strong game for Bilella, and you mentioned the defensive effort for the Dolphins as well. Really an all-around strong effort in goal as well. Bolin Barabbas did a great job saving the penalty kick, as I mentioned before. An unfortunate rebound led to the Griffins' lone goal, but again, a strong effort from both teams and a very entertaining game earlier this week here at the CSI Soccer Complex. Just one of many reasons to come out and check out the Dolphins this season.
Yeah, so the Dolphins take the field, as do the Panthers here for the second half. The Dolphins will go from left to right, the Panthers from right to left. It will be Old Westbury with the first touch here in the second half. Both teams looking for that elusive first goal to take a 1-0 lead here in this game, and Dolphins looking to get themselves on the scoreboard here. And we're underway here in the second half. Panthers looking to play the ball up the far side of the field, but the Dolphins come away with it once again as Perella looks to turn and get the Dolphins started offensively, and now it's Russo. Russo along the far sideline. Russo now working the ball back, but the pass going to roll past everybody, and Smith has to come back and play the ball backwards to Diola. Menza Mendez. Now over to DiStefano, and now it's Sandor. Sandor rolling the ball forward. She's looking to get the ball to Menza Mendez, but Levine is going to be there to knock the ball away. Last touch by the Dolphins, so it will be a free kick here for the Panthers. 45 seconds into this second half. No score between the Dolphins and the Panthers.
And once again, it will be Shauna Henderson taking this opportunity for the Panthers. We've seen her very active at both ends of the field. When the Panthers had their lone opportunity on offense, it was Henderson who made a nice play on the attack along the near sideline, but she was ultimately dispossessed, and the Dolphins regained possession. We'll see if the Panthers can make something happen here.
Yes, the Panthers try to take advantage of a Dolphin turnover in midfield. They're unable to do so, and now Menza Mendez looking to get the ball forward, and a nice defensive play that time by Henderson once again, just doing enough to knock Perello off the ball, and that allowed Higgins to come out and make the play for the Panthers. Ball going to be knocked out of bounds deep along the far sideline. And once again, it'll be a throw-in opportunity here for the Dolphins. Ball played forward as the Dolphins looking to get their attack going right where they left off in the first half. As now it'll be DiStefano playing the ball for the Dolphins. She's looking to get the ball to Sandor, but once again, a nice defensive play that time by Onofre to knock Sandor just enough off the ball, Joe, so she cannot make the play.
Good start to the second half for the Panthers. They haven't allowed the Dolphins to get anything going just yet. They've actually had some possession themselves around the midfield area, and that's a good step forward in moving towards some attacking play.
As that time, Mulligan's pass is going to be stolen away, and an opportunity for the Panthers now as they look to counter it, as it's just the Panthers looking dangerous for really the far sideline.
And that's an improvement over sideline.
So the ball's going to come in as the Panthers looking to work, and they're able to turn the ball in the penalty area once again as the Dolphins struggling to clear the ball out. And now they'll be able to do so. But the pass is going to be knocked away as Old Westbury looks to continue to put pressure on the Dolphins, as now they're going to throw it deep down the center of the field. Nugent unable to play it, and now Higgins trying to clear it up the near sideline. Sandor fighting for possession. Normile out. 3.5 minutes into this scoreless game here in the second half, as Normile's kick is going to be knocked out of bounds up along the near sideline. And now it'll be a Panther throw-in once again. Normile over to Onafor. And that ball's going to be knocked away by Perello. And kept in once again by the Panthers. But Aparicio steps up to knock the ball away, but she can't maintain possession. And now it's going to be DiStefano playing the ball up over the near sideline. And a nice job here by Old Westbury here in the last couple of minutes, starting to put a little pressure on the Dolphins defense.
They have. They've been able to maintain possession around the middle third of the field. Now they need to look to create some opportunities on the attack. They haven't allowed the Dolphins to get any big opportunities yet in the second half, and that may not be saying a lot, only 5 minutes in, but the way the Dolphins played in half number one, that's something that I think Old Westbury can look at and say, all right, we're doing a much better job already here in the second half, especially given the amount of possession time they've had.
Smith in the center of the field for the Dolphins, looking to play the ball forward. One of the big stats in the first half, Joe, we didn't touch on it very much, 9 offsides for the Dolphins in that first half.
Something we spoke about as they occurred. We didn't have an exact number, but that is a very large number, and we'll see if the Dolphins look to clean that up or continue to take chances and try and put a long through ball over the top of that back line or in between the back line defenders of the Panthers.
Now the Dolphins looking to counterattack as Diola's pass for Nugent is knocked away defensively once again by Old Westbury as Nugent tried to come back on that one. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and Ciatola will throw it in for the Panthers. Nice defensive play now by the Dolphins to come away with the ball, and now they look to clear it up to Nugent once again, and once again Henderson will be there to knock it away for Old Westbury. Throw-in comes to Lauren Smith. Smith heading the ball forward. Now it's Menza Mendez. Menza Mendez playing the ball through to Russo, but the pass is going to be too far ahead. It's going to roll out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in now for the Panthers. 39 minutes remaining here in the second half as the Panthers throw the ball in and the Dolphins take the ball off the turnover. Some space now for the Dolphins as they turn and shoot, and that ball's going to bounce off of Higgins as that one time she left the rebound, but no Dolphin there to make the play.
That's the second time we've seen Higgins allow the ball to rebound like that. That's always a risky play. I'm sure she didn't allow it to rebound intentionally, but those that bounce awkwardly can end up being dangerous, perhaps find their way into goal. We saw that in the last Dolphins home game. A shot taken right at the NJCU goalkeeper ended up trickling in straight through her. And the Dolphins would love to see themselves get a fortunate break like that once again.
Panthers throw the ball in now as Menza Mendez gets the ball back to Mulligan. Now it's Smith over to Menza Mendez as the Dolphins put together a series of passes, and now it's Perello. Perello looking to break in. As she pushes that ball towards goal, it's going to roll out of bounds, and it will be another free kick opportunity here for the Panthers. So Perello tried to fight her way inside, but once again, good defensive play by Old Westbury. That was Gianna Levine that did a nice job knocking Perello off the ball, and it ends up with a free kick for the Panthers.
It was a good ball there to get Perello some space to work, but a better defensive play, as you mentioned, Mike, by Levine, and the Dolphins threatening once again here.
As Nugent had a little bit of space, but the Panthers close it quickly, and Higgins is there to make the play once again. So that time it looked like Nugent might have an opportunity, but she never could quite corral possession, Joe, on that play.
That last sequence of two Dolphins threats, very characteristic of the way the Panthers have played defense through the first 50 minutes or so. More than that now, nearly 55 minutes or so into this game. They've really been able to shut down those Dolphins' threats on more occasions than not, and they do so on those last two opportunities for Perello and Nugent.
Sandor coming along the near sidelines, fighting with Jones for the ball. Those two have battled all here during the second half, and now it's Jones coming away with the ball for the Panthers, trying to work her way through DiStefano, but a nice play by Brianna to come away with the ball. Sandor up the near sideline. in the center of the field now for Mulligan. Mulligan trying to step forward, but a better play by Annarella to come forward and knock the ball away for the Panthers. Sandor into the center of the field. Now DiStefano has to come back and play the ball up along the near sideline. It'll roll out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in now for Old Westbury. Intensity starting to pick up here in this second half as we played just under 9 minutes, and the Panthers trying to put pressure on the Dolphins back defensively, and now DiStefano comes away with the ball up over to Menza-Mendez. Menza-Mendez looking to get the ball up over to Perello. Perello and Levine will watch the ball roll back towards goal, where Higgins will be there to play it once again for the Panthers. 7 shots on goal for the Dolphins, but they've yet to find the back of the net. And now it's Smith looking to attack for the Dolphins. Smith looking to roll the ball forward to Perello, but once again, Levine does enough to shield her off the ball, and Higgins comes off her line to make the play for Old Westbury.
In the second half, now starting to shift more and more in the Dolphins' favor here after Old Westbury got off to a much better start in the second half, and it looks like a handball will be called. There's a lot of frustrated spectators, and the Dolphins bench immediately signaled for it. They will get the call. Free kick for CSI.
So Sandor with an opportunity to play the ball into the penalty area here for the Dolphins, as she'll give the Dolphins offense an opportunity to settle in as she gets ready to approach the ball. She kicks the ball in towards the center of the field, but the Panthers there to head the ball away. And playing the ball in the center of the field is Annarella. Annarella chipping it forward. DiStefano steps up across the midfield line to play it back to Lauren Smith. Russo looking to play the ball forward to Nugent. Nugent looking to run in as she's able to get the ball past the goaltender, and she's taken down in the penalty area. And we're going to have no call on the play. It will be a corner kick for the Dolphins as Nugent tackled hard inside the penalty area, and it will be a corner kick here for the Dolphins.
And that was a good, strong, clean tackle, Mike. I'm sure we'll get a replay of it in a moment. But that was a very strong tackle there to save a goal, as Nugent had no one between her and goal. I think maybe she thought that she had more time to get off an uncontested shot than she actually did. It will be a corner for the Dolphins, but the misplay by Higgins almost cost the Panthers dearly.
I believe that will be Sandor to take the corner kick, and she'll go across now to the far side of the field for the Dolphins, and she'll swing that ball in toward the center of the goal, and the Panthers will be able to knock it out of bounds out along the far sideline once again. So it'll be another corner kick here for the Dolphins. They had just one corner kick all game long, 2 quick ones. They take a short corner and put the ball in towards goal, but it's going to go just wide past the near post as Perello looked to break in. Menza-Mendez was there too, Joe, but neither Dolphin player could get to the ball.
And you mentioned it, Mike. That one almost found the upper right-hand corner of the net, as I believe that was Lauren Smith who fired it.
As we get an opportunity here to see Kiki Nugent break in on the ball, and that time the Old Westbury defender tried to dummy the ball back to the goaltender. Nugent was able to come in and make the play, but a better defensive play, and we remain scoreless here in the second half. Menza-Mendez losing possession of the ball, but Sandor's there to retrieve it back up over to Aparicio. Now Mulligan with an uncharacteristic giveaway in the center of the field, as Rama looking to break in for the Panthers, but the Dolphins able to clear the ball away once again. Aparicio looking to get the ball up the center of the field to Perello, and DiStefano turns away the breakout pass by the Panthers. DiStefano in the center of the field. Now it's going to be Diola. Diola rolling the ball forward, and Henderson is there to knock it back onto the Dolphins side of the field, as the Panthers try to put a little bit of pressure here on the Dolphins in the second half, as the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins, as they'll have their first substitution of the second half.
And checking in for the Dolphins will be number 15, Brittany Bornstad. She replaces number 9. That's Kiara Menza-Mendez.
So Menza-Mendez, a couple of offensive opportunities for the Dolphins. Bornstad will check back in. She played the entire first half, And now she's back here in the second half for the Dolphins as it's Nugent. Nugent, a beautiful through ball now to Lauren Smith. Smith with plenty of space, looking to get the ball in towards Perello. It's going to be knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be a corner kick once again for the Dolphins. And, you know, that looked like the Dolphins might have had a little bit more time. Smith kind of passed the ball into traffic, Joe, and Dolphins kind of ended up being fortunate to get the corner kick.
Well, the Dolphins were on the short end of a numbers game there. It was 3 Panther defenders against the 2 Dolphin attackers, Smith and Perello. That made for a very tough crossing opportunity, and the Panthers did a good job knocking it down, though it leads to a corner.
So the Dolphins look to play the corner kick into the center of the penalty area. The Panthers play it away once again as it's Aparicio over to DiStefano. DiStefano just chips it towards goal. Nobody there but the goaltender, Alicia Higgins, who makes the play on the ball. As the Dolphins start to turn up the pressure, Joe, 3 corner kicks here in the first 15 minutes of the second half, but the Panthers still keeping the Dolphins off the scoreboard.
It's been a good defensive effort by the Panthers, considering how much pressure the Dolphins have put on them, but it seems as if it's only a matter of time before CSI scores the first goal of the game, especially if they keep up this strong attacking play as we've seen now for the last 10 minutes or so.
So Diola able to get the Dolphins a throw-in as the Dolphins now try to work the ball up the far sideline as Nugent fighting for possession. And the Dolphins able to come away with the ball once again as they're going to feed it up the far sideline. They're looking to get it to Russo, but instead it's going to be Henderson to come back and play the ball out of bounds. And, you know, no hesitation, Joe, by the Panthers. If they feel any danger, they don't hesitate pushing the ball out over the sideline.
And many times that is the right play. It's not as if the Panthers have been looking to make long passes and get out on the attack quickly. They've been more methodical when they have attempted to attack, moving the ball from player to player slowly in the midfield area. And it looks like a goal kick has been awarded to the Panthers here. So once again, it appears as if Shauna Henderson will be taking that kick.
Yeah, so Nugent tried to break in. She was knocked off the ball. Last touched it, and now the Panthers with their free kick opportunity as they play the ball up toward the center of the field, and it's Nicole Jones in the midfield circle as she fights that time for possession, and the Dolphins come away with it once again. As now it's Perello. Perello over to Sandor. Sandor with a little bit of space. As the ball comes across that time to Russo, she chips it towards goal but doesn't get much on it. And Higgins is there to make the play for the Panthers.
And for all of the passing around the penalty area, the Dolphins' strongest shot opportunities in terms of power behind the shots have come from further out. And they're looking to work the ball side to side there, one side of the box to the other. They don't come away with a shot that time. And you have to wonder if the Dolphins may decide to just start firing shots from a further distance if the pass or the cross isn't there. That's when they've had the best opportunities of this game in terms of power behind their shots.
Jones now playing the ball up the near sideline for Old Westbury as DiStefano comes back. She's knocked down from behind. And that'll be a foul on Jones and a free kick opportunity. 15 shots on goal now, Joe, for the Dolphins. Old Westbury still looking for their first shot of the afternoon. Anarella in midfield loses possession, and now it's Sandor. Sandor to Perello. Perello with a little bit of space, looking to run her way down the near sideline, but she's knocked off the ball, and the ball rolls out of bounds. And it will be a free kick opportunity once again for Old Westbury.
And the longer the Dolphins go without putting the first goal up on the scoreboard, the more they may be lamenting those opportunities from really close in where they just didn't get all of their shots or weren't squared up toward the net, whatever the case may have been on each particular opportunity. And they'll look to create yet another opportunity here as Sandor dribbles in and loses possession.
Now it's DiStefano looking to come up from a fullback position. A nice chip in, looking to get the ball in towards Sandor, but able to come out and play the ball on a couple of hops. Once again is Alicia Higgins. Higgins, a long punt up the center of the field as it goes under the foot of Russo. And Diola's there to head it forward for the Dolphins. Now Nugent trying to turn towards goal. Nugent, surrounded by a couple of Panthers, works the ball back now to Borstead. Borstead's pass is going to be knocked away by Normile into midfield where Nicole Jones is able to play it for the Panthers. Now Jones looking to use her speed and get past Mulligan. but a nice play by Mulligan to knock it out of bounds over the near sideline, out of bounds, and it will be a rare throw-in for the Panthers deep inside Dolphin territory with 26 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in regulation time.
And Jones with a strong effort there on the attack. Unfortunately for her and the Panthers, she didn't have much help, as it didn't seem as if any other Old Westbury players were really in the range of Jones to make a pass and try and create a better opportunity than what she had. Here comes the throw-in for the Panthers.
So the Panthers throw the ball in as Mulligan fighting for possession of the ball, and the Panthers doing a good job. That's Nicole Jones using her size and strength to fight her way inside before Mulligan is able to play it away for the Dolphins. They knock it out of bounds. And it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins, but not before we have a couple of substitutions for the College of Staten Island.
It's number 10, Susan Aracena, and number 9, Kiara Meza-Mendez checking in for CSI. They replace Caitlin Rousseau and Adriana Perello.
So a couple of substitutions here for the Dolphins with 25 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in this second half. No score between the Dolphins and the Panthers. As the Dolphins make a couple of substitutions up front, as Mendez comes in along with Aracena. Both players have shown some good offensive flashes, Joe, here this afternoon.
And we mentioned that the Dolphins substitutes had more shots than their starters in that first half. They'll look for a similar spark from their substitutions here in half number 2.
DiStefano heading the ball back into the center of the field. Aparicio trying to volley the ball forward, but instead it's Levine there to play the ball for the Panthers, as both teams fighting for possession, and now it'll be Jones playing it forward for Old Westbury. Aracena getting her first touch since checking in the second half. Now rolling it up over to Nugent. Nugent with a little bit of space looking to work the ball down the far sideline, but once again it's going to be Shauna Henderson there to knock the ball away for Old Westbury. Now Mulligan. Smith over to Borstead. Back to Smith right at the midfield circle. She tried to chip the ball forward. She was looking for Mendez, but once again the Panthers there to knock it away. And we're going to have a foul called on the Dolphins.
We saw the Dolphins get more physical defensively, a bit more aggressive towards the end of that first half, where they racked up some foul calls. They ended half number 1 with 5 fouls called against them. And it looks like we have an injury timeout once again.
So the clock stopped now, 24 minutes, 2 seconds remaining here in this second half. Scoreless between the Dolphins and the Panthers. And, you know, Joe, the Dolphins continue to push, they continue to probe, but they've been unable to get that big shot on goal, and we're still scoreless here with 24:02 remaining here in the second half.
And I've said it several times already, Mike, they've had great opportunities from very close to the goal, and on those opportunities they just didn't get everything behind those shots. Their strongest shots have come from further out, as I've already mentioned, and those shots may be the shots that put the Dolphins out in front in this one, because Old Westbury has done a good job of keeping them out of the penalty area and preventing shot opportunities from close in this second half. The Dolphins have really struggled to get those high-quality chances. The best opportunity, of course, came on the foot of Kiki Nugent, and that shot was never even taken, as a strong slide tackle dispossessed her of the ball, and the penalty call was avoided as well. A huge defensive play for Old Westbury at that point in the game. And because of that, we're still scoreless.
The Dolphins will open their conference schedule this Wednesday night as they will travel to the Bronx and play Lehman College at 7 p.m. Then 4:30 on Saturday at Randall's Island against CCNY. So Dolphins conference schedule getting underway this week. But first, the Dolphins trying to complete their non-conference opening season winning streak at 4. As we're tied 0-0 here, as Kiki Nugent will check out of the game for the Dolphins, and Ashley Hunter will check in. So the ball's going to be played up here, as Henderson will take the free kick and play it towards goal. It will go past everybody, and DiBenedetto will make her first touch here in the second half, 21 minutes in, as we're scoreless. And now the clock begins to run here in the second half. Smith chipping the ball forward on the far sideline. She's looking for Aracena. Aracena tries to keep the ball in. She cannot. And it will be a throw-in now for Old Westbury. Panthers throwing the ball in up the far sideline. Aracena trying to turn the ball in towards goal. She's able to do so, and here come the Dolphins looking to attack as it's Menza Mendez. Getting the ball back up over to Sandor. Now it's DiStefano. Brianna rolling the ball forward up to Menza Mendez. She tries to get it back to DiStefano, overlapping from her fullback position. One of the rare times this afternoon, Joe, she did that, and she got herself into a little bit of space but couldn't control the ball as it goes too far past her and out of bounds.
Perhaps the best Dolphin shot opportunity of this game came when Rebecca DeLoya played up from her position on the back line and got a shot right at the top of the penalty area. She was barely challenged by a Panthers defender, which shocked me at the time, and DeLoya just missed coming up with the first Dolphins goal, and from that point, the Dolphins haven't had a shot opportunity that's been as good as that, and we still find ourselves scoreless just under 23 minutes to go here in the second half.
As the free kick by the Panthers go past everybody, and now the Dolphins looking to play the ball in quickly off the throw-in once again as Hunter tries to keep the ball in play. She will be unable to do so, and once again, it will be a free kick for the Panthers. And once again, Joe, another nice defensive play by the Panthers, who haven't hesitated to use their bodies defensively all game long.
They haven't. They've played a physical game and a clean game. Only 3 fouls for Old Westbury in the first half. They've stayed away from fouling here in the second half, and they've not only done a good job using their body to shield the Dolphins off the ball, but they've known when to clear the ball over the sidelines in order to take some of the pressure off. But we've said it many times already, they need to find a way to sustain some attacking pressure, and that's something we just haven't seen yet.
As Hunter trying to play the ball deep along the far sideline, she's unable to keep the ball in play, and once again, the Dolphins' pass will roll out of bounds over the goal line, and once again, it will be a free kick coming up for Old Westbury. CSI men's team in action this afternoon, playing LaSalle College up in Newton, Massachusetts. 2 o'clock start, so we won't have any updates for you here this afternoon, as our next broadcast will be this Wednesday afternoon. 4 o'clock start, 3:45 pregame show, as New Jersey City University will be back here at the CSI Soccer Complex. Of course, they were here for the preseason tournament here just a couple of weeks ago. Hunter with the ball. A beautiful feed now to Aracena, but once again, just a little bit too far. And, you know, Joe, the Dolphins have been playing with the wind at their back here in the second half, and last couple of occasions, they haven't been able to corral that ball in the wind as the passes have been just a little too far ahead.
And we've seen a lot of play along that far sideline in recent minutes as well. The Dolphins have been looking to work the ball in that direction and have failed to do so effectively as of yet.
Ball's going to be played out of bounds up along the far sideline, and once again, it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. Clock continuing to wind down. 20 minutes, 15 seconds remaining here in the second half. Panthers looking to throw the ball in, and Borstad's going to be there to knock it away. As now it's Menza Mendez playing the ball for the Dolphins. Now the Dolphins trying to create a little bit of space, but once again, a nice defensive play by the Panthers to knock the ball toward the sideline is Sandor making a nice play on the ball, looking to keep the ball in. Sandor looking to put pressure on the ball, but she will knock the ball out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in once again for Old Westbury. Panthers throwing the ball in as they look to get the ball to Jones. Jones surrounded by a couple of Dolphins as Sandor will knock it out of bounds, and it will actually be a throw-in for the Dolphins, so DiStefano will get the throw-in. DiStefano's throw-in is going to be headed out of bounds that time by Normile, and it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins, but this time a few feet deeper in Old Westbury territory.
Dolphins slowly working their way up the field via the throw-in, forcing Old Westbury to clear the ball over this near sideline on several occasions consecutively.
As DiStefano comes up to take the throw-in for the Dolphins, now it's Sandor. Sandor, a long pass across the goal mouth once again as Aracena coming across trying to keep the ball in. A nice move to keep the ball in as the Dolphins clear it up to Borstad. Her shot's going to be knocked away defensively. once again by the Panthers. Nice defensive play that time by the Panthers. A good opportunity for the Dolphins. And now they will get called for the foul, so it will be a free kick. So Dolphins were able to turn and get a nice shot towards goal by Borstad that time, Joe, but a nice defensive play by the Panthers.
And how many times have we said already, Mike, both of us, a nice defensive play by the Panthers. The Dolphins have had many opportunities, and there could have been many more has it not been for the defensive play of Old Westbury down around the penalty area.
Menza Mendez looking to get the ball to Hunter, but once again, Henderson there to make the play, and now Sandor with the turnover. Borstad looking to head it down the field towards Smith, but it's going to be knocked away defensively by Normile, and it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins as they look to throw the ball in to Menza Mendez. Menza Mendez knocked down hard, and this is a big free kick opportunity, Joe, with 17:40 remaining, really just about 5 yards above the penalty area, and really an opportunity, Joe, for the Dolphins to put the ball inside the box and try to do some damage. And it looks like Natalia Sandor will take the free kick.
And these opportunities are always dangerous for the defending team. We'll see if the Panthers can come up big once again. The Dolphins very nearly scored on a corner earlier in the game.
So here comes Sandor, a hard kick across the box. Borstad's able to get a foot on it. Now it's Menza Mendez, but the ball's going to be knocked away, and the Dolphins will have to regroup. Chipped in towards the box. Now looking to break it is Sandor. She has some space. She chips the ball towards goal. It's going to be off the post. And now Menza Mendez chip towards goal will go out of bounds. So big opportunity that time for the Dolphins, but once again, unable to take advantage.
And that's the best Dolphins opportunity of the second half where they got a shot off. Remember, the opportunity for Kiki Nugent did not result in a shot attempt. And right there it was Natalia Sandor who had an opportunity to put the Dolphins out in front, and she ended up connecting with the left post, just connecting with that left post and missing, tucking it inside. So the Dolphins once again turned aside, this time by the post, and they will have possession before it's cleared by the Panthers.
So the Dolphins tried to feed that one inside, but once again, the Panthers there to play the ball away. So Dolphins denied once again. As you can see, the ball bounced to Sandor. She did a nice job controlling it and volleying the ball across, but just off the post. And the Dolphins denied once again as the clock now runs under 16 minutes remaining here in regulation time.
And we've seen the Dolphins denied by strong defensive plays from the Panthers. We've seen them denied by their inability to get everything on shots from close in. This time it's the post that turns them aside. And if you're the Dolphins, perhaps the pressure mounting a bit to get that first goal of this game, because you'd have to feel pretty secure with a one-goal lead. With the time you've spent on the attack and the way you've played defensively, the Panthers really haven't threatened much at all in this game. It's been slightly better in the second half, if at all, than in the first half. And Old Westbury is still looking for some time on attack.
So Lucia Mejia will check into the game, and she'll replace Romelu. With 15:15 remaining here in the second half, Kiki Nugent also checking back in the game for the Dolphins. And now an opportunity for Nugent as she's tackled right in the center of the field, and we're going to have a whistle on the play as Nugent draws the foul. This one will be right atop the penalty area, and I believe we also saw a yellow card shown on the play that time to Shauna Henderson. And, you know, that was actually a good play by Henderson there, Joe. She broke up a possible breakaway by Nugent, and that will force the Dolphins to take a free kick here.
And it looks like it will be Lauren Smith attempting this free kick.
3 players in the wall as Smith looks to chip that one towards goal and forces Higgins to go up high and knock it out of bounds. So a nice job that time by Smith. She got the ball on goal, but once again, Alicia Higgins up to the task, knocking it out of bounds. And it will be corner kick number 5 coming up here for the Dolphins.
And that was almost a perfectly placed free kick by Lauren Smith, just maybe a few feet inside where the crossbar meets the post. We'll get another look at it in just a moment.
So Sandor will take the corner kick here for the Dolphins. A long high kick across the post, and the header goes over the top. Another golden opportunity for the Dolphins. That time it was Lisbeth Aparicio who worked her way in front, had some room, but our header went over the crossbar. Big opportunity that time for the Dolphins.
And here comes another look at that first opportunity. This time it's Lauren Smith attempting the free kick.
A nice free kick that time, and a nice play by Higgins, and that was followed up by another opportunity. 9 shots on goal for the Dolphins, but we remain scoreless. Normile playing it in the center of the field to Onafor. Onafor's pass is knocked away as Borsted's going to chip and turn it towards the Old Westbury side of the field, but her pass will be out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in here for Old Westbury as the clock continues to roll. A couple of big opportunities, Joe, for the Dolphins, but they remain unable to score.
And here's another look at that corner kick opportunity for the Dolphins in the ensuing header that traveled over the crossbar, and that one ended up popping up straight up in the air as the Dolphins, with an opportunity to cross there, goes over the back of the goal and out of play. It will be a goal kick for the Panthers, and it looks like a pair of Dolphin substitutions will enter the game as well.
Yeah, so that time it was Nugent trying to press the advantage for the Dolphins, but her pass went out of bounds. It'll be a free kick, so Caitlin Russo and Ariana Perello will check back into the game for the Dolphins here with 12:20 remaining, as Ashley Hunter will check out of the game along with Susan Aracena. So free kick coming up. Henderson will take it once again for the Panthers. Into the center of the field. Borstad is there to play it for the Dolphins, and she'll look to chip it over to Nugent. And that time Old Westbury will knock it out of bounds. That time not a good play by the Panthers, Joe, as they will give away a very easy corner kick. Let's see if the Dolphins could take advantage of it. They were very dangerous with their last corner kick opportunity.
And that's definitely not a situation where you want to concede the corner kick, especially after how the last corner kick taken by the Dolphins played out. They just came up short of putting the first goal on the board once again. We'll see if they can put together a similar threat.
So Natalia Sandor will take it. It's a good one right across the center of the goal mouth, but no Dolphin there able to play the ball. Panthers now playing the ball up the far sideline, but it's going to be played by Diola. Diola looking to roll it through to Nugent, but the flag is up, and the Dolphins, for the first time here in the second half, get called for the offsides.
And Nugent has been the culprit on many of the offsides calls so far here in this game. It will be a free kick now for the Panthers, a few yards outside of the penalty area. We're seeing the clock tick down below 11 minutes now remaining in the second half.
So Henderson will step forward once again for the Panthers to take this free kick as she kicks it up along the far sideline. And Diola there to head the ball forward for the Dolphins, but now the Panthers trying to play it forward to Jones. But the Dolphins there to play the ball once again, and now it's Sandor. Sandor, a nice ball now for Perello, who's just checked back into the game. Perello rolling the ball back. A little bit of space now for Borstad. Borstad's pass in the center of the field is going to be knocked away once again. A nice defensive play that time by Anarella once again for the Panthers, as the ball is going to roll out of bounds, and once again it'll be another free kick for Old Westbury.
And the Panthers still looking to get out on the attack. I've said it many times already, and it just hasn't happened really since the first 5 minutes of the second half. From that point forward in half number 2, it has been all Dolphins, and yet CSI still sees a 0 up there on the scoreboard as we're now under 10 minutes remaining in the second half.
Henderson playing the ball up the far sideline. Russo able to knock the ball forward. Dolphins can't control, but now Borstad looking to feed it into Perello. Higgins coming off her line. Henderson shielding Perello off the ball. And once again, Higgins is there to make the play. Higgins skying the ball up towards midfield. Borstad there to play it to Smith. Smith in midfield with a little bit of room, but the Panthers close it off quickly. Now it's Smith once again. Nugent went to turn for the ball, but she fell on the play, but the Dolphins doing a nice job of keeping it in play. Now the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and once again, it will be another corner kick here for the Dolphins. Their 6th corner kick here in the second half. As Old Westbury living a little dangerously here, Joe, giving away a lot of corners here in the last couple of minutes.
And the last 2 corner kicks by Sandor have both been very good. The first one found the head of one of her teammates. That shot attempt went over the crossbar. The last one straight across the center of the goal mouth.
Here comes the corner into the center of the penalty area. It goes past everyone, and now it's going to be Perello there to play the ball for the Dolphins. Borstead. Borstead turns and puts that ball towards goal. Smith and Higgins go for it, but it's going to go out of bounds. And once again, it'll be another free kick here for Old Westbury. But first, we're going to have a couple of substitutions for the Panthers, as Effie Shawnee will check into the game.
Yeah, I don't have a 24 on my roster either, Mike. I see you looking for it, so let me check the game program, see if there's a 24 listed on there. I also have the official Old Westbury roster, and no 24 on this roster either, so perhaps a player wearing a different number. And there was a number change. It was Tony Ann Marie who checked in for Old Westbury. On our roster, she's listed as either number 25 or 99, wearing 24 today. And you see her right there meeting DiStefano on the ball.
So Sandor tries to play the ball forward. It'll be knocked out of bounds by the Panthers once again. So a throw in for the Dolphins. 7:40 remaining in the second half as Perello heading that ball forward. Now it's going to be Diola. Diola in a little bit of space. Diola turning, looking to get her shoulders towards goal. She bounds off a couple of Panther defenders, and once again, Diola looking dangerous, but once again, the Panthers doing a nice job defensively and not letting her turn and get that clean shot towards goal.
And once again, Deloya demonstrates great speed with the ball and an ability to avoid challenges and markers on her way toward the penalty area. She didn't get a shot off this time, but good dribbling skills shown there and the ability to make herself a threat on offense. Unfortunately, a shot opportunity did not result from it, though the Dolphins appear as if they will regain possession.
DiStefano will play the ball all the way back towards goal as Di Benedetto touches the ball for just the second time here in the second half. And here come the Dolphins looking to get the ball to Nugent. Nugent in a little bit of space. Henderson coming back to try to defend, and she does a nice play, knocking the ball away from Nugent, but a nice job by Kiki to stick with it, but her shot's going to be knocked away. And now here come the Dolphins once again. Borstad with space and drills it towards goal, but once again, Alicia Higgins is there to make the play.
Strong shot there by the Dolphins, but great defensive play from Shauna Henderson of the Panthers, who successfully tackled Nugent, who had the ball, and then blocked the shot attempt by Nugent. The Dolphins now with 19 total shots here in this game. Still no shots for the Panthers of Old Westbury, and it appears as if once again we will have an injury timeout, and it's Shauna Henderson who's down after blocking the shot attempt by Nugent.
Well, she's been all over the field here for the Panthers, as the Dolphins have put up 19 shots here in this game, and we remain scoreless with 6:02 remaining. And you know, Joe, the Dolphins have presented themselves and have gotten themselves some good opportunities, but where they have gotten the ball towards goal, Alicia Higgins has been able to make the save. She's allowed a couple of rebounds, but the Dolphins have been really unable to do anything with them, as we have another Panther down on the field. And it's probably the fifth time this afternoon, Joe, that we've had a Panther injury that has caused a stoppage of play.
And you said it, Mike. There have been several stoppages due to injury. But before that, you mentioned the play in goal of Alexa Higgins. She was really forced to make her most difficult save of the game on that free kick attempt by Lauren Smith. That ball didn't have much velocity behind it, but it was well placed just under the crossbar, forcing Higgins to fully extend. Higgins listed at 5'6", and she needed all 5'6" of her frame to make that save. We'll get another look at that penalty kick while we have a stoppage in the action. You see there the shot didn't have too much behind it, but as I said, very well placed. Would have found its way in just under the crossbar. A good save there by Higgins, who's done a good job in goal despite the one misplay that nearly resulted in the Dolphins' lone goal of this game. It was Kiki Nugent who had that opportunity, but a great slide tackle to dispossess her of the ball. I didn't catch who it was on that particular play, but a great job by the Panthers taking away that Dolphins' chance on the foot of Nugent. And because of that, we are still scoreless with 6 minutes to go here in the second half.
And Shauna Henderson is working her way toward the sideline pretty slowly here, Joe. And, you know, she's really been all over the field. Both Shauna Henderson and C.I. Tola have really done a great job defensively for the Panthers here this afternoon, really doing a good job of frustrating a Dolphin team that's been able to keep the pressure on all game long, Joe, but have still been unable to score.
And C.I. Tola and Henderson are two names we've mentioned quite a bit here in this game, both in the first and second halves. They've done a good job challenging the Dolphins, and despite the amount of opportunities the Dolphins have had, they could have had way more throughout this game had it not been for the stellar defensive play of those two players we just mentioned.
So Henderson working her way up over towards the sidelines. And it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins as DiStefano to take the throw-in as Brianna throwing the ball up the sideline. And now it's going to be in chipped, and charging in heavily is going to be Jones, but the ball's going to be knocked away by DiBenedetto. And at time the Panthers just 1 or 2 steps away, Joe, from a possible break-in towards goal as we remain scoreless here as we're now under 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in regulation time. Russo. A beautiful feed up to Nugent. Nugent in a little bit of space. Let's see if the Dolphins can take advantage of Henderson on the sideline. Nugent shot towards goal. It's going to be knocked away once again. And now the Panthers feed it up, and it's going to be Ariella. Annarella with the ball. Annarella looking to step forward, but Mulligan is there to knock it away, and now it's going to be DiStefano. DiStefano up over to Perello. Perello over to Borstad. Give and go now as Perello looking to break down the sideline as she's working against Annarella as the ball will go out of bounds. And once again, past everybody. And it will be a free kick now for the Panthers as the player that usually takes the free kick, Shauna Henderson, on the sideline. So now it'll be Higgins to take the free kick for Old Westbury. Higgins. Playing it up the center of the field now. Perello with an opportunity for the turnover, but she's unable to maintain possession. And now it's going to be Onafor. Onafor getting it up to Jones. Jones looking to work against Aparicio. Aparicio, a nice play along the sideline, but a touch pass is going to be out of bounds, and now it's going to be a throw-in for Old Westbury with just 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in regulation time.
And I think that last goal kick may be a hint as to why they have Henderson taking the goal kicks, as that one was shanked right to Adriana Perello, which could have made for a very dangerous Dolphins attacking opportunity. Fortunately for the Panthers, they were able to regain possession around midfield and take the ball into the final third for just a few moments before the Dolphins are awarded the throw-in. And we will have a substitution for CSI as well.
Yeah, Daniela Zappolo will check back into the game, and she will replace Kiki Nugent. And you know, Nugent really with a couple of offensive opportunities. She had the lone Dolphin goal in the game against Purchase earlier this week, and she had a couple of big opportunities, including drawing the foul right in the center of the field that led to that Dolphin free kick. But it's been Alicia Higgins in goal that's frustrated the Dolphins all afternoon.
Nugent's been very active so far in this game, but she will take a seat on the bench for the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And if the Dolphins can't put one up on the scoreboard here, we appear destined for overtime as the Panthers will look to maybe sneak in a goal here in the final minutes. They haven't really attacked much in this half either. They haven't possessed the ball much. It's been all Dolphins really for the entirety of this game. We'll see if the Panthers can put one up on the scoreboard.
So we're inside of 3 minutes to go as the Panthers look to play the ball deep along the Dolphins sideline. It'll be knocked out of bounds, last touched by Old Westbury. So now the Dolphins will throw the ball in, but the Panthers will look to press up a little bit and see if they can keep the ball on the Dolphins side of the field, as it's Zappolo with the ball now for the Dolphins. Aparicio. Aparicio's pass is going to be knocked away, and it will be Murray. Murray's going to play the ball forward, but DiBenedetto will be there to get a rare touch here in the second half, as she'll try to play the ball right up the center of the field. Ball's going to be played now by the Dolphins as they get the ball up to Zappolo. Zappolo getting the ball up with a little bit of space now is Perello. Perello trying to fight her way inside. She's going to be shielded off the ball once again, and Old Westbury has been successful, Joe, doing that all game long, shielding the Dolphins off the ball and getting the free kicks.
And that was Gianna Levine making the play against Perello right there. She's done a great job challenging Adriana Perello for the entirety of this game. They've been looking for Perello streaking up the middle of the field, but she's been shut down for the most part by Levine, who's not allowing her to get a touch anywhere near the penalty area.
Now it's Sandor. Sandor, a nice defensive play that time by Normile, as the ball's going to go out of bounds, and once again it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins. 90 seconds remaining here in regulation time. Sandor to throw the ball in. She looks for Di Stefano overlapping. Murray there to make the defensive play. Now it's going to be Sandor once again. Sandor playing the ball over towards Borstad. Her shot in front is going to be played there once again by Higgins, and that was a nice play because Zapolo was bearing right down on Higgins.
She was, and once again, Alexa Higgins comes up with a big save. She's been forced to make several as we hit 1 minute remaining in regulation, still scoreless.
So 1 minute remaining here in regulation time as the Dolphins look to throw the ball in. They look for Zapolo. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and the Dolphins will throw it in once again.
And we'll get a look at that last Dolphins opportunity here as Di Stefano with the ball there. And then the Dolphins play it toward the box, and Di Stefano once again gets a piece, looking to chip it towards her teammate in front of the goal mouth. However, it was Higgins who came out of goal and retrieved it.
Sandor gets it to Borstad. Borstad with a little bit of space looking for Smith, but once again, the Panthers there to sky it along the sideline with just 20 seconds remaining. Perhaps time for one more Dolphin rush. Zapolo playing the ball back. 10 seconds remaining, but it's going to go out of bounds, and as the ball will be played for a throw-in, that's going to do it, Joe. Dolphins dominating through the first 90 minutes. All shots on goal, all 10 shots on goal by the Dolphins, but no score through regulation time.
And having watched this game start to finish, it's so hard to believe the Dolphins find themselves in a scoreless tie right now. They thoroughly dominated the attacking play in this game, really from the first minute all the way through the 90th. Unfortunately, they just couldn't find the back of the net. It wasn't for lack of opportunities, Mike. Plenty of shots, 10 shots on goal, 7 corner kicks, and some great opportunities that didn't even result in shots, especially the Kiki Nugent opportunity. We've mentioned it several times already. She was challenged strongly in a successful tackle, dispossessed her of the ball within feet of an empty goal, and because of that, in large part, we find ourselves headed to overtime scoreless.
So we're heading into extra time here at the CSI Soccer Complex. We'll step aside, take a break here for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back to bring you the first 10-minute overtime period. You're watching women's soccer coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The #1 goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America in your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
We're back here at the CSI Soccer Complex getting ready to start the first overtime. No score between the Dolphins and the Panthers. It's been a game, Joe, that the Dolphins have dominated in every which way possible, but we remain scoreless heading into extra time.
And I think the biggest enemy of the Dolphins right now has to be frustration. You can't allow yourself to become overly frustrated, though there is reason for it. At this point, they've outshot the Panthers 23-0 through 2 full halves of play, 90 minutes. Unfortunately, they do not have a goal to show for it. And if you're the Dolphins, you have to come away from this game here with a victory. It would be incredibly disappointing to dominate play, especially the attacking play, as they have, and not come away with a win, though. A tie would let them stay unbeaten. Of course, they're shooting for a victory in this one, and they will get overtime underway in just a few moments. Dolphins will possess the ball first.
So the CSI Dolphins, 11 shots in the first half, 12 shots in the second, 6 corner kicks in the second half as well, applying pressure. But Alicia Higgins has played very well between the pipes here for the Panthers, and we're underway with the first overtime period. Nugent looking to play the ball forward. Menza Mendez able to deflect that clearing pass and trying to fight her way inside as she's working against Normile. Normile playing the ball forward onto the foot of Anarella. Anarella's pass up over to Murray, but now Sandor is there to chip it back to DiStefano. Borstad. Borstad's pass is going to be knocked out of bounds, so it'll be a throw in here for the Dolphins, 30 seconds in to the first overtime period. 2 10-minute overtime periods here. There can be a golden goal, and that's what the Dolphins are looking for here this afternoon. Sandor will throw the ball in for the Dolphins. As she gets the ball into Menza Mendez. Now Sandor rolling it across to Nugent. She's able to get a foot on it, but can't clear it. Now it's going to be chipped towards goal. And coming in to play the ball is Menza Mendez. And her shot is going to be in. And just like that, 1 minute and 8 seconds into overtime, the College of Staten Island on the goal by Menza Mendez puts it in the net. And the College of Staten Island wins this one by a final score of 1-0.
The Dolphins, sticking with what they did in the first and second halves of this game, came out in overtime applying pressure. It was Caitlin Russo who attempted the first shot on goal there. It got blocked, but it found the foot of Kiara Meza-Mendez, and she placed one into the top left corner from a very difficult angle. A great shot by Meza-Mendez to bring this game to a close and finally put the first goal of the afternoon up on the scoreboard. Here's another look. Meza-Mendez a couple of feet away from the touchline. That one well over the head of Alexa Higgins and finds the front left corner of the net before trickling down and in. And that will give the Dolphins a 1-0 victory in a game that they thoroughly dominated, start to finish.
You know, Joe, and it was Kiara Menza Mendez who kept the ball in after Old Westbury was looking to clear it, and the ball ultimately went across to Russo, found its way back to Menza Mendez, and Kiara made no mistake as she was able to put that ball over the head of Alicia Higgins into the side of the net. And that allows the Dolphins to escape here this afternoon with a 1-0 victory. A big goal by Menza Mendez. And you mentioned, Joe, how well the Dolphins played here this afternoon and how disappointing it could have been if they weren't able to find a way to get that goal. But Menza Mendez, once again, able to put the ball in the net. Her first goal as a CSI Dolphin, and it couldn't have come at a better time as they were able to escape and defeat Old Westbury by a final score of 1-0.
And given the amount of time the Dolphins had on the attack, it wasn't a bad defensive performance at all by Old Westbury. They should be commended for only allowing 1 goal in this game. They faced so many shots. The Dolphins had such a great deal of possession time in this game. It's actually surprising, as we've already said several times, that it took this long for the Dolphins to put the first goal on the scoreboard. As here's a look at that game winner once again. Russo attempting a shot. It gets blocked, and Menza Mendez finds it just about a couple of feet away from the touchline, puts it over Higgins and into the net for the Dolphins' victory. But a great effort from the Dolphins at both ends on the attack and defensively. They don't allow a shot, don't force Kayla DiBenedetto to make a single save, of course, having not allowed a shot, and they kept the pressure on Alexa Higgins all game, culminating with that game winner off the foot of Kiara Meza-Mendez.
Yeah, and that will allow the Dolphins to get through their non-conference opening schedule undefeated with a record of 4-0. They outscore their opponents 8-1, Joe, is once again the Dolphins starting the season strong just like they did in 2016, especially defensively, just allowing 1 goal through 4 games. Of course, that's a .25 a game, goals against average, and the Dolphins have been able to ride that strong defense here. It really pitching a shutout in every way, Joe. No shots on goal, no goals allowed, and the Dolphins able to do just enough offensively, getting the big goal by Kiara Mendez, her first goal as a CSI Dolphin, and they're able to head to Lehman College this Wednesday night, undefeated, as they will open the 2017 CUNYAC season.
And despite a great deal of roster turnover, the Dolphins starting off 2017 much like they started off 2016. With today's win, they have their 3rd straight shutout, including a 3-0 win over NJCU, a 1-0 win over Purchase, and today, of course, winning 1-0 over Old Westbury. But we mentioned the roster turnover during the pregame, and this team, once again, like last year, off to an unbeaten start, dominating in the shots category today. As we mentioned, at the end of regulation, the Dolphins were leading Old Westbury. I believe it was 23 shots to nothing, so a strong performance once again for the Dolphins, and they earn a well-deserved 1-0 victory this afternoon.
Yeah, and it was a big game for the Dolphins, a big win for the Dolphins. As we get ready to go off air, we want to remind you that our next broadcast will take place this Wednesday afternoon, as the men's soccer team will be back in action against New Jersey City University. And of course, Joe, the men have won their last 2 games. They're up at LaSalle College in Newton, Pennsylvania, for a big game this afternoon as they look to continue their winning ways. And they've been playing very well. They're 2-1, looking for their 3rd win here this afternoon. The women have gotten off to a 4-0 start, so they've been on fire here to start the season as the season continues to roll and we get ready to get the conference schedule underway for the women this Wednesday night.
And the conference portion of the schedule is always exciting. And I mentioned that with the women taking on Lehman College last year in the CUNYAC tournament, they scored 4 goals in that game by 3 different players. None of those 3 players still with the team, so the Dolphins looking for offense from other places. They found it so far this season. As for the men, outside of 1 disappointing game to open the year where they really didn't force the goaltender for the opposition to make many saves, didn't exert much pressure on the attack, they've been very good as well. Very competitive game against Sarah Lawrence earlier this week. That we referenced a big win over St. Joseph's Brooklyn. So a good start for the men and a great start overall for both the CSI men's and women's soccer programs this season. A combined record thus far of 6-1.
And, before we go off the air, you might have noticed how the Sportsnet broadcast just continues to improve as we get more camera angles for you and a lot of instant replays here. And, of course, that's all coming from our producer, Dave Pizzuto, really doing a great job on the board. And we really start to pick up the level of the broadcast here on CSI Sportsnet.
And he gave me the opportunity to come on to CSI Sportsnet, do some play-by-play. I love it. I appreciate the opportunity. I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I look forward to another great year of CSI Athletics here on Sportsnet.
So that's going to wrap things up here. The College of Staten Island defeats a very tough, very game Old Westbury team by a final score of 1-0. So for Joe Foreman and Dave Pizzuto, this is Mike Babuski saying so long and thanks for watching. Don't forget to join us for our next broadcast this Wednesday afternoon as the men will be back in action as they will face New Jersey City University. 3:45 for the pregame, 4 o'clock for the game as you watch Kiara Meza-Mendez give the Dolphins a 1-0 win. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and we'll see you this Wednesday afternoon right here on your voice for CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.